Okay, Jonathan, thank you very much. So, the Seattle police chief has been warning that violent crimes are going unanswered with little police presence inside that occupied zone there in Seattle. Well, tonight, a local business owner says he called 911 amid an altercation with an occupier, and nobody showed up. But our next guest was there. Journalist Andy Ngo joins us now from Seattle. Andy, good to have you back on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so I know there are different perspectives. You have said during the daytime there is, in your experience, a different vibe. There is music, there are kids, there are all kinds of things going on. But you say you're seeing something different at night. What's happening and what are you seeing?
Sure. With all due respect to the reporter there, I think the autonomous zone can be described as a sort of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in that you see during the day, yes, it's very peaceful. Families come there, people come there with their pets. And it's peaceful if you can ignore all the boarded up businesses, all the graffiti calling for the murder of police. Yes, that's peaceful. Then at night, you see the criminal elements come out. Unfortunately, last night, that was made very clear when one person on a microphone and a loudspeaker was able to sick a mob of probably more than 100 people to chase down this business that was several blocks away. They just all descended on it. It was pure anarchy. They pushed up against the fence and all rushed in. It could have been extremely violent. Fortunately, it wasn't. According to what I heard from the owner and staff, they had detained one of the comrades of this camp for alleged arson and theft. And because of that, all his comrades came to help get him out. Police never came.
Okay, I want to read something through from the Daily Beast. They say local businesses there are loving it. They're loving the zone. Their estimation is this: local businesses are chipping in with free food and open bathrooms, despite rumors that activists were holding them prisoner in their own beer halls and inside movie theaters. What's been your experience with business owners within that zone? How are they doing?
Sure, there are some businesses whose owners or management may be sympathetic to what's going on and have liked what's happening, but there are others who don't. For example, there's a Trader Joe's nearby who announced just a few days ago that they're closing indefinitely because of security and safety issues. So when you take that and you also see all the businesses that are boarded up, that no cars can drive into this area, I don't see how the few anecdotes of positive experiences of some owners could be the representative voice, particularly when there are now some dissident voices coming out to speak, and they're having to do it anonymously because of threats of retaliation.
Well, and I thought it was very interesting that the police chief says we're asking people to come out to the edges or the borders of this area to make reports so we can know what's going on and try to help them. It doesn't sound like a very efficient way of doing it, but she says basically we're trying to do the best that we can, and if there are serious crimes, we'll go in because that's what we do. We're the police, and that's what we have to do. Here is someone who wanted to remain anonymous, but somebody who lives within this area or nearby. This is what the anonymous person identified as Brandon tells the Daily Caller.
For the first time in my life in Capitol Hill, I hear gunshots every single night, and I've heard people screaming every single night outside. And they're not protest screams. I've heard protest screams, but I've also heard screams of terror out there, and I don't know what's happening out there.
He mentions gunshots. Andy, what are you seeing? What are you hearing with respect to people who are bearing arms? Are they doing so legally? What do you know about the claims he's making?
You see a lot of people openly carrying weapons. It can be handguns, rifles, batons, or even knives. And there's quite a lot of open drug use as well. At night, it's a completely different vibe than during the day. You see vagrants come there. Some of them are dealing with mental and health crises. There was an ambulance that was called yesterday. The fact that police are not going in should tell you quite a lot. And this is what my own sourcing had told me last week, is that if anybody needs help, you actually have to leave the physical zone and return to the U.S., let's say, to get help. So this is now a 1-week experiment in anarchy and chaos, and those who live there have to fend for themselves.
Well, we're getting all kinds of different reports about what it's really like there on the ground. So in addition to Jonathan Hunt, thank you, Andy, for offering your perspective and your video from inside. Keep us updated. We'll keep monitoring it.
My pleasure.
Okay.